It is exactly 30 minutes past midnight, and I am just coming back from the game. There were no trains. Well, I mean, there was a massive crowd, so it took time to get to the station. And I mean, that might be the only part of the game that I don't really, enjoy, which is like the coming back part, because it is very stressful. But yeah, let us dive into the game. It was not a good game. I mean, I guess that must be common knowledge by now. It was not a good game at all. But then in another way, it could have it could have been worse. Actually, it could have been it could have gotten really, really bad. Nicky Butt said in an interview after the game that like 6 weeks ago that we could have lost this game easily, 2-0, 3-0. Again, one of the positives from this game is that it shows where we are mentally to be able to snatch something out of a game where we haven't played that well, to be fair. We were so slow. It was like we were playing in rewind. So yeah, to be able to snatch something at the dead of it, at the dead of the game, it means in a way that we are kind of almost back mentally where we used to be, where teams are kind of like wary that if the ref hasn't blown the final whistle, then the game isn't over when you're playing Manchester United. So yeah, that would be a good thing. But also, as Man United fans, I want us not to fall so deeply for into that temptation of feeling like, okay, that we're now back to like, Sir Alex Ferguson, days, we're not there. Again, if at the beginning of Carrick's tenure as Man United manager, you told United fans that for the first 5 games that you're going to win 4 in a row and draw 1, every one of you would have taken it. Every one of us would have taken it. I would have taken it. So this is it's not a step in the wrong direction. We didn't play well. That like you can't play 100% every single day, every single game of the season. It's almost impossible. You know, even the people that have done unbeaten seasons have had games where they were not particularly proud of, but they were able to snatch something. So it wasn't a very good game, but yeah, you know, we did something, and I was proud of the fact that we were able to snatch something. I couldn't celebrate the goal because I was in the home end. I was in the middle of West Ham supporters, so I couldn't really, be able to celebrate the like that Sesko stunner, absolute stunner. And talking about Benjamin Sesko, to be honest, I think he deserves a start. I think he's earned himself a start, at least a start against Everton. We have time right now to look at what exactly went wrong against West Ham and try and fix it against Everton. And one of those things that, in my opinion, went wrong is not starting an actual striker. It felt like we had no focal point. It felt like the balls were not going anywhere. It felt like no one was making those, striker like runs into the box. That was how it felt. Like it felt like we didn't have any edge. It felt so slow, you know. So I felt like if Sesko had started, I think there would have been more impact. I think he could have kept the centre backs a bit more engaged because they were coming in to make passes and stuff like that. So I think it's one of the things that we should probably look into. And also, I don't think it should be set in stone that Cunha has to be subbed before Mbeumo has to be subbed. And I know Mbeumo has been amazing. I'm not criticizing anybody. I know Mbeumo has been completely immense and amazing. But at the same time, sometimes I do feel like it might be better to sub Mbeumo and leave Cunha on and then sub Mbeumo for Sesko. I think Carrick should have subbed Mbeumo for Sesko and left Cunha, Sesko, and Ahmad on there. I think they would have made a bit more difference. Don't get me wrong. I know Mbeumo came up with the assist, but 90% of the game he was almost not there. And again, this is not me criticizing him because he's been spectacular, and you can't be spectacular every single game. You're not Lionel Messi. So I do understand that. But at the same time, I do also feel that it is sometimes, not all the time. Again, it should not be set in stone. Sometimes you should be like the manager should be able to look, okay, Cunha should be on this pitch right now because if even I think he started as a striker because Mbeumo, I'm sure, was on the left hand side and Ahmad was on the right hand side. So I think sometimes it needs a bit of shuffling, but it wasn't as bad, you know. I think Lenny Euro. Oh, Lenny Euro, thank you very much. I owe you a beer. I actually should give you a beer because that could have been easily 2-3-0 if he didn't make that block. So thank you. We could have been out of that game. So thank you to Euro, thank you to Lamens, thank you to Sesko. Everybody else, they did their best, and I know it was a good day for them. But I think it's high time that we actually had an actual conversation about Diogo Dallo. And I'm not joking. I think we should have an actual. I think it might be a time for an intervention. And I know he's in quote, a seasoned fullback. And to find that level of quality in quote in the market now isn't particularly easy, especially when you're talking about fullbacks. But Dallo has a problem. And I know you've seen it. And I have seen it as well. Everyone has seen it. I don't know if the managers have seen it because somehow he keeps surviving transfer and transfer windows. Somehow Dallo keeps surviving. So we have seen it. I'm not sure that they've seen it as well. I think the man has serious issues. He couldn't even complete simple passes. So I don't know. I don't know what has to be done. I don't know if he has to be sold. I don't know if they have to call an intervention, call a meeting so that they'll sit down and actually have a conversation with him. But he was horrible today. He was by far, and I know Shaw's defending today wasn't particularly great, but Dallo was by far the worst player on that pitch today. And I was glad that Carrick had the courage to sub him off. I mean, that again should be one of the differences between Ruben Amorim and Michael Carrick because I don't think Amorim would have had the insight to sub Dallo. Dallo could have played rubbish for the whole 90 minutes and still played again and again. So due credit to Michael Carrick for those attacking substitutions. They were spot on. They were absolutely spot on. So yeah, we look forward to the next game. We play Everton at home. At least we're going back home. It would be time to just correct whatever it is that we didn't do right in this one. But all in all, it wasn't a good game. But again, I am proud of where we are. I am proud of the changes that we've made. I am proud of how far that we've come from the pit that we were dug into. So this might just be like a bump, a little bump, but I'm very, very happy that we didn't lose that game. Because if we did, it would have been a whole different story. It might have affected our confidence, so who knows? So we're in a good place. We're fourth in the table. Let's just keep going.